Chapter 39. Paris, France, 10:28 a.m., July 12th, 1789. Bill splashed down into a mid-sized puddle on a dirt path lining the southern lawn of the Parc de Vincent of Paris, his calves effectively shielded from the mud thanks to his full-body wetsuit. Poot, though she landed beside the puddle, immediately, gleefully rolled around in it, effectively camouflaging her bright orange life jacket for the coming day. A crowd of curious artsy Parisians, already in the park to paint or pontificate, gathered around Bill as soon as he materialized magically from thin air, clapping lightly as he begged each of them for directions to Chateau Ciel in English. Anyone? Cateau Ciel? Chat a cow, through the mouthpiece of his wetsuit before spitting out the useless snorkel, ripping the face mask off of his head and taking a great, exasperated breath to building applause, his audience assured by the broad pantomime that Bill was a jester of sorts, perhaps a juggler or comedic actor from abroad, drawing even more looky-loos to ogle him as he struggled out of his wetsuit, peeling the neoprene skin down to his waist to reveal a bright blue golf shirt, before stepping out of it in 2 long strides and dusting the dirt from his khakis, pulling his loafers from the backpack at his feet, and casually slipping them on with one hand to complete his amazing transformation back to business casual. Like a larva into a butterfly, peeling out of his cocoon, an audience member sighed rapturously, clapping excitedly. Ah, the audience cooed, throwing a few small coins at Bill's feet, conjecturing amongst themselves in swift, haughty French about the missing monkey for the magic act, because why would a jester's dog have a saddle upon which no monkey rode? It was preposterous. The newspapers and salons the following week would read, "The Jester of Rambouillet incites revolutionary riot at the Bastille with an invisible monkey riding a dog." It was a minor headline. The crowds thinned, and Bill threw his hands in the air in frustration, bending to collect the coins at his feet as an amiable fellow approached, shrugging apologetically while motioning to the departing spectators. "American, correct?" The tricorn-topped stranger smiled, flashing his white wooden teeth. "Yes," Bill huffed, holding his hand out to shake. "Finally, English. Where are you heading, friend?" The man spoke flawless English, grasping Bill's hand with his own firm shake while stretching his neck to read the text on the paper in Bill's other hand, holding a monocle to his left eye before lowering his voice to a whisper as he went on. "Ah, Chateau Ciel. That wouldn't be Monsieur Marivel's place, would it? I've been trying to reach him myself. Are you with the cause?" "I'm with my uncle." Bill ignored the coded question, answering in full Texas volume. The man smiled knowingly and dropped his monocle back on the chain around his neck, cocking his head suspiciously, his wary eyes darting around the empty path and its thatch of trees before tilting his head northeast. "Take the Rue Saint-Maurice to the River Seine, and follow that until you pass the Hotel Rambouillet, where I happen to stay when I'm in the country, if you know what I mean, friend. It's about 4 blocks south of that. A big old blue house, you'll see. Thank you kindly for the directions, friend." "At your service." The man nodded, searching over Bill's shoulder again after hearing an unfamiliar bird call, and, growing alarmed he was being watched by the king's secret police, the cackles rising on his neck, scurried away, leaving Bill staring down at Phinneus's message. When Bill looked up, the helpful guide was gone, though he couldn't shake the nagging feeling he was being watched as he squinted up at the bright midday sun, snapping his fingers for Poot before setting off across the park. 2 hours later, drenched in sweat and late 17th century city gore, Bill alighted upon the weathered and crumbling porch of a blue mansion with a tilted sign reading Chateau Ciel affixed to a lamppost out front, appearing as if it hadn't been updated since its glorious erection. "Oui," an exhausted-looking maid cracked the door when Bill knocked aggressively, her one visible eye traveling up and down Bill's form. "Phineas?" Bill asked politely. "Pardon?" The maid tilted her head quizzically. "I'm here to see Phineas," Bill repeated with more volume, while Poot sat politely at his side. "Ah, Monsieur Phinneus, oui, entrez." Her countenance changed as she ushered them inside the dark foyer, suspiciously eyeing Poot sniffing a path indoors. Bill heard the buzz of masculine voices behind the parlor doors as the maid threw them open to reveal his great Uncle Phinneus, deep in conversation by a low fire with a man Bill had never met before. "Bill, my boy," Phinneus cried, lifting himself from his padded chair, rushing to shake Bill's hand with an affectionate pat on his shoulder. The other man slowly lifted his impressively tall and lean body from his seat, his long golden hair falling about his shoulders to frame gently lined eyes that crinkled as he smiled. "What the hell do you have there, son?" Phinneus asked, pausing his introductions to motion to the rolled wetsuit Bill carried under his arm. "Well, I wanted to be prepared," Bill explained feebly. "Is that a saddle on your dog?" Marivel interrupted, bending to study Poot closer. "That's a life jacket," Bill responded with a satisfied smile. "The things you think of in the future." Marivel laughed jovially, bowing his head in Bill's direction. "So nice to finally meet you, good sir. Your uncle has told me much about you." Phineas motioned to his companion, a note of pride creeping into his voice. "Bill, may I introduce you to Marivel, one of the last true Atlanteans from the first Earth."